guys, it's me. I'm back.
What's up, party people?
We're like, Max, come on.
All right, this show is taking a turn for the. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of MONSTERBASS Live. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name's Rick, and I'll be your host for the next hour or so. We got a great show for you. I'm really excited about today's live cast. We've got Daniel Nussbaum, the president and CEO of ZMan. I mean, come on, right? And I've got my co-host Alex Rudd on today. That's right. Max is home studying for a test today, and we need to make sure that he gets into military school on his own accord. And so we got to make sure that we give him all the time for studying that we can. And so today Max is going to take the day off, and but we're blessed to have Alex Rudd with us. So we'll get him on the show in just a little bit. If this is your first time tuning in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So that you can stay up with everything having to do with Monster Bass. Today's show, I want to say thank you. Today's show is sponsored by Solifornia. It's California with Soul, and they make some great apparel and some big things you're going to see from them in the fishing space in the next year. So give them a check out. We'll be giving away some stuff from them during the show today. As always, we've got the super chat going. I got a whole new whack load of hats. We'll give away stuff every 15 minutes or so, because I want to make sure you guys are well taken care of, because I'm grateful for your support. Don't forget, the hotline's going to be open in just a little bit. We're going to put it up there so that you can call in and ask questions. You have any questions you want to ask about ZMan soft plastics and what makes them the best, or you want to talk about chatterbaits, or you want to just ask Alex Rudd a question, we're going to put that hotline up there. Don't forget, turn your volume down when you get on with us so that we don't, I'm getting old, my hearing's going. So do me a favor. Fishing with Gramps already jumped in with that. I need to buy that black camo flag hat. This is a one-of-a-kind, Gramps. I'm the only guy that has it. But maybe we can make some for you. All right. Before we get started, two things. I had them, but they're in my office. Oh, no, they're not. Two things. All right, so before we get started, two very important things. Don't forget, in your box is a golden ticket. Your box contains a golden ticket, individually numbered. We're going to call out the numbers, and if you have the number that we call out, you're going to win whatever prize it is that we're giving away, and all you need to do is be here listening, watching live. So pay attention to that. And then don't forget, we just opened up registration for the Big Bass Championships. Just head over to monsterbass.com/BBC. As a subscriber, you get to participate and register for free. We send you a code. You can sign up. If you're part of the general public and you're not a Monster Bass subscriber, that's okay. You can still participate in this. It's a year-long one-fish challenge. Now, we've broken the country into regions to make it fair for, guys living in Florida so that, they're not competing with a guy living in Delaware, because we want Max to win this championship. But we broke the country into regions, one fish tournament all year long, and your next fish could win you as much as $10,000 worth of cash and prizes. Again, head over to monsterbass.com/BBC for more details. All right. Let's not waste any time. We got such a good show, Jared. I want to bring on Alex Rudd because, I've never had an experienced co-host like this. Normally it's Max. How's it going, man?
I'm just glad that you said I'm experienced. I mean, I'm here. I don't know how much experience I have, but I'm here. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, come on. Listen, when you're like you and me, this is proof we're experienced. I mean, at least we've been around the block a little bit, right? Like,
that's true. But we can talk real pretty. That's definitely what we can do.
I don't know that the word pretty coming out of my mouth sounds as good as it does when you say it, but
well, we are here. How are you, my friend? I've not seen you in a week and a half?
A week and a half, and I already miss you. I mean, I really miss your wife because, you know, she was the one that made me feel, she was the one that gave me all that Southern hospitality. You know that she sat in the garage after you guys left to go filming. She sat in the garage with us, and I swear to God, I probably took another 10-minute nap, and she said nothing. She would have let me sleep there for 2 hours and would have just sat there, and she didn't complain one bit.
That's the way we roll down here, brother. And you know you're welcome anytime. You just come on back. I told Rafi earlier too. Just come on back.
I think he has a new appreciation for the South, so I think he'll be back. How are your two little turkeys, lunch and dinner?
Dude, they're doing turkey. They're doing turkey things, man. You know, they're really big now. Like they honestly are probably twice as big as since you've seen them last. They are growing very rapidly.
I don't understand this at all. Okay, so help me out. So you buy little turkeys and then you grow them like pets. Then do you just take them out back and shoot them and eat them, or do you just let them go and eat in your yard, or like I don't know.
You know, man, I've not really determined yet what I want to do with the turkeys. Bethany says we're not eating them. I would totally eat it because, you know, you don't get a beard like this by not killing and eating things. Yeah. But yeah, we're just going to raise them for right now. It was honestly like an impulse buy more than anything. I do not suggest that to anybody. Don't impulse buy turkeys, but I got the room and I got the space, and I'm a dumb redneck in that sense. Then I went to the store and I bought me a couple turkeys, and now I've got them, and we're just going to raise them and see what happens.
Nice. So how's the fishing these days?
It's good, man. It's getting better than it was. Bass have moved up shallow. We got a lot of spawning fish. We got a lot of post-spawn fish. They're starting to eat wacky rig a little bit better, starting to kind of a little bit of a frog bite. I'm starting to find a little bit of a flipping bite. So it's getting good. And then I'll be heading up north here in a couple weeks. So we'll be doing the northern bite too. So heading up to Michigan. So it'll be even better when I get there.
Exciting. It's great. Hopefully I'll see you up there the week after the Classic.
Yeah, I know, right? I was wondering if you were gonna make your appearance or not.
I don't know. I'm trying to plan a trip. I feel bad for my son. You know, my son's just turned 16, and he's been basically sequestered in the back house. All right, he's been sequestered in the guest house for like 400 days, like doing nothing but going to Zoom school and playing video games. Like I feel really bad for him, so I'm trying to plan a trip because I feel like I got to get this kid out of here and like interacting and everything because we're still not back at school.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah,
and it's crazy. So I want to go on this trip with you guys up to Michigan and chase some smallmouth, but I don't know. We'll see if I can make it. But
I think quality time with your son trumps Michigan in June. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll have fun. It probably won't be like the kind of fun that you could think of, but we'll have fun. So go spend some time with your boy. I think that's more important.
Wait a minute. Is that your way of saying you don't want me to show up because you know I'm just going to distract everyone to go fishing?
I mean, I'm not saying that. Maybe, sure. Yeah. I don't know. You know, you're always welcome, but
right. Thanks.
Maybe not this time.
Well, man, I'll tell you what. I'm really excited about today's show because, you know, as a guy running a company in the fishing industry, I see bladed jigs all day long, and I don't know. Maybe I'm not the average. Maybe I'm not as smart as everybody else, but it seems like everybody's got a bladed jig. They all look similar to me. And so I figured, let's get to the bottom of this once and for all. I want to know, you know, ZMan started it all. So let's find out let's talk all about bladed jigs. And I can't think of anyone better than Daniel from ZMan. So I'm kind of excited to have him on the show.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome. I was talking to him a little bit before we got started, and we already started diving into some topics. And I was like, you know what? Let's wait till we get on live and start talking because I think we're gonna have some really cool in-depth discussion on the bladed jig. Because you know as well as I do, I'm a chatterbait fiend. I got a lot of chatterbaits, and I told him I've dove off into the rabbit hole with all that, and so I think it's gonna be really cool to kind of get his perspective and his knowledge on it because I would say he's probably got more knowledge about the chatterbait than anybody else out there right now.
I would hope so. And I'm also excited to see what questions we get from the audience. So I say I don't think we should waste any more time. You know, let's bring on our next guy, our guest. Our guest today is none other than the president and CEO of ZMan, Daniel Nussbaum. Welcome, Daniel.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you?
Doing great. Beautiful day down here in South Carolina.
Nice, nice. I'd like to be in South Carolina right now. So Daniel, I've known you for like, I don't know, I'm gonna say probably close to a decade. I think.
Yeah, I think it's been about that long.
Yeah. So for everyone that's watching, like that doesn't know like the history, can you take me back and tell me how ZMan got started and how how you came to be at the organization?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story with ZMan actually. The owners of ZMan, before ZMan even existed, they owned a manufacturing company that made silicone tape that went on brake pads. The company was called RM. There were a couple of guys there that were bass fishermen, and they looked at the silicone tape and said, hey, if we color this and put some glitter in it and slit it into strands and put a band around it, this will make a awesome spinnerbait skirt or jig skirt. So when I was a kid, this is in the 80s, I remember opening the Bass Pro catalog that I'd be so excited when I got it once a year, the big thick phone book catalog. And there was a page for RM silicone skirts. They sold that company back in the 90s, and the people that bought it, all they cared about was making, silicone tape that went on brake pads. They didn't care about making skirts, and they weren't bass fishermen selling them for 5 cents a piece or whatever. So the former owner basically leased a building across the street and bought silicone equipment, and they started making skirts. ZMan Fishing Products was born. That was in the 90s, and for about 10 years, all we did was make silicone skirts, really.
And so when did the chatterbait come to be, and how did it get started?
Yeah, and that's a really cool story because it's like one of those. It's kind of the thing that every fisherman dreams of, right? I'm sure you guys are probably the same way. I mean, when I was a kid, I was always tinkering and making spoons and tying hair jigs and all kind of stuff like that, melting down my plastics and trying to, turn them into baits that would catch fish. And, everybody dreams about coming up with $1 million lure idea. Yeah. There's a guy named Ron Davis up in Rock Hill, South Carolina, about 3.5 hours away from us. And, he was a tinkerer. And he'd been playing around with, putting blades on different types of lures and, literally came up with the chatterbait in his garage. So he started making them, this is early 2000s. He was buying silicone skirts from ZMan at the time. And, he made them in his garage. He started selling them at a couple of shops in the Carolinas around 2004. And, they sold a little bit, but a couple of the pros were using them. Guys like Brian Thrift, Andy Montgomery, Hank Cherry. I mean, guys that are big names now. They weren't necessarily big names then, but in January of 2006, Brian Thrift was fishing an FLW tournament down in Okeechobee and cracked about 100 pounds on the chatterbait. And overnight, it just went crazy. They were going for like $100 on eBay, and there was no way that the Davises could, keep up making these things in their garage. So they started looking at different options, and we were selling them skirts and had the ability to crank out a bunch of baits for them. So that's really how we got involved in the lure business, not just the skirt business.
Wow, Brian Thrift.
Amazing. What a fascinating story, because like I remember you guys put out a kind of like a docu-series or a documentary about the whole situation, that whole story. And like I never realized where it actually came from for the longest time, right? I'm like a big guy that I love to know the root of something, whether it's a musician or a bait or whatever it is. And when I watched that, man, it was just like kind of like that true American dream kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like the guy who like did it and like figured it out, made something completely unique, because that's definitely something in the fishing industry you see a lot. Is it's just a lot of people knock off things, and the chatterbait was like nothing before it. And it was such a cool story just to see that guy kind of bring that thing to life. And then obviously, when Brian Thrift when he cracks 100 pounds in 4 days, that'll sell a few chatterbaits here.
That kind of speaks for itself. But yeah, I mean, it's like the coolest story ever, because it's a guy that, just had this idea, and it took, years of testing, and, he's buying sheets of stainless and cutting blades, drilling holes in them in different places and figuring out how to attach them to a jig head just to, make to vibrate the right way, make the right sound, not to blow out when you start burning it. So it'll, vibrate when you're, just winding it real slow or just almost hopping it on the bottom. And yeah, I mean, it's completely home brewed. And like you were saying, Alex, I mean, it's, this industry, there's a ton of copycatting, because I mean, how many original ideas? I mean, a spinnerbait works, it catches fish. Sure. Or a skirted jig, or a paddle tail swim bait. There's only so many variations of it. And my favorite part of this job is getting to do all the product development stuff, and it's just so hard, number one, to come up with an original idea, but number two, to come up with an original idea that actually really works, and actually works, not just works, but I mean, you look at the chatterbait, and it's created a whole new category of lures. I mean, you've got spinnerbaits and jigs and bladed jigs now. I mean, it's not just a lure, it's a whole category.
Yeah, and that's something I've had many discussions about, that there's very few lures out there that totally redefine the way that you approach a lake. And a chatterbait totally redefined the way that you approach a lake, or approach a certain set of conditions, or a certain set of cover. And like you're right, just it made a whole new category. It opened up the ability to catch a whole new segment of fish that you may not have been able to catch before. And like, for me, at least as an angler, when I really discovered how to use the chatterbait, it was like, oh, this is that piece of the puzzle that I've been trying to find, and this is how it works. And there is not many, if maybe just a handful of baits that are actually like that. That's crazy.
So there's a lot of bladed jigs on the market. I mean, it seems like it's gone through waves, right? First, you guys came out with them and everyone copied. And then, even a couple years ago when the Thunder Cricket came out, and it seemed like everybody started copying. What exactly, you have a patent, and you have a patent on the chatterbait. Can you tell us what that patent is, and why a ZMan chatterbait is different from another bladed jig that's on the market?
Yeah, we actually have 4 different patents that cover bladed jigs. Really, 3 of them cover our chatterbaits, and then 1 of them really covers our chatterbaits plus the Thunder Cricket, which is a little bit different. We can talk about that in a little while if you want. But really, what the patents cover is the way the blade is connected to the head. If you look at ours, and I've got a Jackhammer right here, which is obviously, probably the #1 selling lure on the planet right now, I would guess. But the blade connects directly to the head of the lure. I mean, the way the patents are written, honestly, I mean, even like a fishing lure patent, it's like you have to have an engineering degree to understand, what the patent says and what it's claiming. But basically, it's the blade connecting directly to the head of the jig or lure via the hook eye or a wire that's molded into the head. So, the way that other companies get around our patent is they attach the blade to the head via a split ring or some kind of, wire, an intermediate wire connection. The thing is, though, I mean, those will still work, but they don't work as well. They don't start up as quick. They don't vibrate as quick. They don't vibrate as hard. They don't vibrate at slower speeds. They blow out when you wind them real fast. So that's really the difference. That's what our patents cover. It's, it's not the shape of the blade. It's not the shape of the head. It's not what it looks like. It's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so
go ahead, Rick.
No, I was just going to ask, so, there's got to be a ton of people out there that are making bladed jigs that just didn't do their research, and they don't realize that, there's patent infringement. Does that happen pretty often?
Yeah, it does. I mean, honestly, it's probably a weekly occurrence, and
really?
and we get it. Listen, I mean, there's a million guys making jigs and spinner baits in their garage, and, selling them. They got a website or selling them to tackle shops or selling them on Facebook. And, we're frequently, and I do a lot of this myself. I mean, just reach out to people directly and let them know, we've got a patent on this. I'm not trying to hurt your business or anything like that, but we have a ton of money invested in the patents and in the brand.
Sure.
And, one guy making baits in his garage or a small company making them and selling them, no, it doesn't hurt us, but cumulatively, it kind of does hurt our business. And it also, sends a message about, what's allowed and what isn't. So we don't do it in a way where we're trying to ruffle any feathers or anything like that. We want to be, good players in the industry. We respect, other companies' patents and trademarks, and, just kind of feel like, that's how everybody should play. I mean, play by the rules.
Yeah.
So
true.
since we're on the whole patent talk, let's talk about Thunder Cricket Jackhammer, and then I want to kind of dive into the Jackhammer because everybody loves talking about the Jackhammer. Whether you love it or I think everybody loves it, but they love to hate it too because of certain things. The price point specifically.
It's
but I want to get
expensive.
into it's expensive, but I want to get into why, right? But so let's talk about Thunder Cricket. Yeah, so let's talk about Thunder Cricket and Jackhammer. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Strike King came to you guys and licensed the direct connect technology, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So, like I mentioned before, we started off in the skirt business. Strike King has always been and still is ZMan's biggest silicone skirt customer. I was actually, just in touch with those folks earlier today. I remember the first time, my first few months here at ZMan 12 and a half years ago, going to their place in Colliersville, Tennessee, and meeting those folks. And we've always just had a great relationship with them. I mean, not only do we make skirts for them, but we do Elaztech plastics. They're really the only other company that sells our Elaztech plastics. They're just great people. It's a great company. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for them. And I like working with them. They're sharp people. They're good marketers. They've got a great pro staff. They do business the right way. So, when they came to us and asked us about licensing, it's not something that we'd really considered before because we view the chatterbait as a way that we can grow the ZMan brand and grow brand awareness so we can develop other products, which we have. But, just because of the history with Strike King and the great relationship that we have and the fact that, they sell a bunch of lures and it could generate revenue for us. I mean, that was a business decision that we thought was a smart one.
Yep. That's cool, man. That's cool. So what's the defining difference between Thunder Cricket and traditional chatterbait jackhammer, the whole ZMan lineup?
Yeah. So the main difference is the way that they build theirs. Ours have a blade that's connected to the hook eye or like the jackhammer, for instance, there's actually a piece of stainless wire that's molded into the head and you can't move it at all. On the Thunder Cricket, if you picture like a figure 8 shaped wire, and there's a little slot in the head of theirs and a pin goes through one hole in the figure 8 shaped wire. And then the blade goes on the other hole. So that whole figure 8 shaped wire that connects the blade to the head can pivot a little bit. That's a little bit different. That's really the main difference. I mean, there's some other differences. I mean, the hook's a little bit different and, we got a hand tied skirt on ours, but theirs is a great bait. They both have stainless blades. The shape's a little bit different. I think the clip on them's a little bit different. There's some minor differences there. The head shape's pretty similar. But I mean, those guys are great. Even, they showed us the original design and I said, that looks a lot like the jackhammer. And they were really cool about it. They're like, okay, well, change it so it doesn't look exactly the same. They weren't trying to step on our toes, but the way that blade kind of pivots, some people think it's a good thing. Personally, this is just my personal opinion. I think it causes it not to vibrate quite as hard. It makes a little bit different sound, probably doesn't start up quite as quick. And I think it kind of, just having a little bit of extra, like another pivot point, it kind of, prevents a good solid hook set sometimes. which is, if there's one downfall to the chatterbait, it's that, the hookup ratio always isn't great, and fish don't stay pinned quite as well just because that blade can act as a lever and hinge it open. So anything, that you can do to keep that hookup ratio high, I think is a good thing. So that's kind of why I think the jackhammer is a little bit better. And I think, you look at, every week there's a top 10 on Bassmaster or MLF, and half of the guys are throwing a jackhammer, and they're not guys that we sponsor, and there's a reason for that, right?
Yeah, that was something I wanted to get into. Is kind of funny is you look at big finishes and big wins in the past few years. Ott Defoe, when he won the Classic, some of these MLF events that's been going on, bass events, everybody's always got a jackhammer. I mean, jackhammer, the jackhammer, the jackhammer, and it's fascinating. So let's talk about the jackhammer. Like, I have totally dedicated and fallen in love with the thing. Like, I'm 1,000% behind it, right? But you got these people out here that are just like the price point. Kind of dive into the history of how jackhammer came to be, the involvement of Evergreen into that, and kind of like what really makes that thing as special as it is, because it truly is something different and truly is something special in the bladed jig world.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, it's a special lure. I mean, the fact that it, people buy it for $16, which I, never thought was possible. I mean, when we came out with this thing, we knew it was going to be an expensive bait. I mean, it's expensive to make. I mean, you look at the detail that goes into it, the paint schemes, the different blade finishes, how the skirts are tied in so many different layers. But, you look at pretty much any Japanese bait, whether it's a, Lucky Craft or an Evergreen or whatever, all these hard baits, and they're all, in that $15, $20 price range, sometimes more, right? That's because of the level of detail that goes into it and the level of quality that goes into it. And the jackhammer is really no different. And, the jackhammer is expensive, but it's not like we're, price gouging on this thing. We actually make our profit margin on the jackhammer is lower than any other chatterbait we make. That's the percentage that we make on it. It's lower by a long shot than any other bait, any other chatterbait that we make. So, I would rather, for $16, I'd rather you go out and buy, two of our $7 chatterbait elites, from a business standpoint, than for $14 than one of our $16 jackhammers. We make a lot more money off of that. So we tried to keep the price point as reasonable as we could. And, it hadn't slowed it down one bit, but, kind of circling back to your original question about how the whole thing got started, and really Brett Hite is the reason why the jackhammer exists. And, I've always had a tremendous amount of respect for Brett. I mean, he's, from the start, I mean, Brian Thrift put it on the map, but it wasn't long before Brett Hite was winning money on the West Coast on this thing. And then as he kind of climbed the ranks, he really, established himself as one of the top bladed jig fishermen. And we started talking to him. Gosh, this is probably going back, I don't know, I'd say 8 or 9 years now. I remember the conversation. I was, up in Charlotte, North Carolina at a trade show up there, and on my way back, and that was the first time I ever talked to Brett. But Evergreen was a sponsor of his, and he introduced us to the folks at Evergreen at ICAST, and that's when, the whole idea of selling this jackhammer in the United States and co-brand it really started.
That's fascinating. Fascinating.
We got a question from Matt Thomas. He wants to know if the JDM version of the jackhammer will ever be sold in the States.
The JDM version is exactly the same as the regular one, the standard jackhammer. The only difference is colors. They do a tungsten resin jackhammer, and there's a lot of confusion around that. People think that it's like a regular tungsten bait where it's going to be less dense. Really, the only reason why they did the tungsten resin version is because there's lakes in Japan where where you can't use lead.
Sure.
And because it's tungsten resin and not pure tungsten, the density is really no different. It actually, the head can, almost not break, but, kind of shatter a little bit more easily on tungsten resin versus, lead, which is a little bit softer. But, we looked at bringing it here because we got some requests for it. Decided not to because it would, really quickly be a $22 chatterbait.
Sure.
And our pros looked at it. There was really no functional difference. I mean, Brett didn't think we needed to do it. So, there's really no difference between the JDM version and the regular version. They're made in the same factory. There's just a few different color options, I guess, that we offer and a few that they offer.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I got a few of those. Oh, go ahead, Rick.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say hi to the entire Rudd family, Nana, Papa,
They all on it. Yeah, Dad texted me and said that the entire Rudd gang was the entire family was watching.
Now they tuned in to see me, right?
Yeah, it's only you. Yeah, it's your pretty face. I think they wanted to, they hear me talking about Rick a lot. I guess they finally wanted to see your face and see what you look like.
Well, you were too embarrassed to have them over for dinner when I was there. I thought like the whole clan was going to come over and we were going to,
Party.
Yeah, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So next time for sure, because, hashtag make Red rich.
There it is.
It's time for our first golden ticket. So if you got your box, you got your golden ticket. I'm gonna read off the first number. Let's give away this first prize is a California prize pack. I don't know. There's stickers. There's a bunch of hats. There's some cool hats. There's some hoodies. Some T-shirts. These guys sent it in. I'm going to read the first number. So get your pencils ready, folks. The number is U7690. P as in Paul, 7529. We'll put it up on the screen. If you've got that number, take a picture of yourself with the card so I can read the number and email it to marketing@monsterbass.com. And I got to be honest with everyone. I almost said my old company. I almost said it. It came so close. Oh God. All right. Well, let's get back to some questions. We had another question from the audience. They wanted to know where the name ZMan came from.
Yeah. So the owner of the company, now it's the family that owns the company. Their last name is Zucker, and Jerry Zucker, who originally founded the company, he was the Z-Man. So when he started this silicone skirt company, his employees wanted to honor him, so they called it Z-Man Fishing Products.
That's
And the
awesome.
family's still really involved. Jonathan is the president of our parent company. He's down at ICAST every year and usually goes to, he'll go to writers events with us in Louisiana. And he's been up to, when we were testing out developing all the Ned rig baits, we did that up at Lake of the Woods in Canada, smallmouth fishing, and he was up there with me for that. So it's super cool that they're so involved, and this is kind of near and dear to them, just because we're right here in their backyard and they love fishing in the outdoors and things like that.
Nice. We have another question. What would be your favorite trailer on a jackhammer and why?
Yeah, absolutely. Without question, our razor shads. We kind of designed that for the chatterbait. I don't have one sitting in front of me, but it's a shad shaped bait with a fork tail, segmented body. And I think one mistake that a lot of people make when they're fishing a chatterbait is using a trailer, a big, bulky paddle tail trailer that really overpowers the blade. I mean, you can see that really inhibiting the action of the blade. So in my mind, I mean, there's times that I use a paddle tail. Usually it's something like our diesel minnows with a little thinner tail, rather than, something with like a big, huge round tail or something that really pushes a lot of water. But, it's really great when you can, get a bait like our razor shads where the blade actually, imparts all that action on the tail. The bait just seems to work a whole lot better that way. It does what it's supposed to do.
Amazing. Hey, Jared, what do you say? Oh, first of all, Matt has a question, which we're going to get to, but why don't you open up the phone lines, get it started, so we get some callers in the queue. So we're gonna open up the hotline. If you have a question for Daniel about anything having to do with ZMan, whether it's their soft plastics or their chatterbaits. I wish my dog would stop barking, but that can only mean one thing. It's the mailman time, and one of these days. We have a question from Matt Thomas. He wants to know how the goat toads are coming.
Yeah, they're coming great. I actually right across my office, and thank you for tuning into that. At my table right over here, I've got laid out the second prototype, and I actually took it out. For those of y'all who don't know, we're kind of taking everybody along with us, developing this new bait called the goat toads. We started off, showing sketching and 3D modeling and 3D printing, and it's been going on now for like 5 or 6 months. I think we've done like 8 little episodes on our YouTube channel, but the last one we had the first prototype and it just didn't work at all, but we managed to make some tweaks to it. We got the second one sitting here on my table. I had a chance to throw it earlier this week, and I thought the action was great. I only threw it for about 5 or 10 minutes, but the next step is we're going to get it in the hands of a couple of our pros and see what they think, and shoot some video with them, talking about it a little bit and see what kind of tweaks they want to make to it. So it's been pretty cool to see it come together.
Yeah, that has been a cool series. I've kind of been keeping up with that. There's definitely nobody out there in the industry kind of going from sketch to final product with people, and I think people enjoy that. I think it's kind of like the behind the scenes. People love behind the scenes and transparency. So that's a really cool series.
Yeah, that was actually Brian Latimer's idea to do that. Brian, he's got a way of like texting me at like 11 at night with like these great ideas. Like I got a text from him like at 11. This is a couple of years ago. He's like, I got a great name for a color, yoga pants, and sure enough, we came out with a color called yoga pants. Black with black glitter. So Brian, one night, around dinner time, of course, texted me and he's like, hey, I got this great idea. Everybody does these launch videos at ICAST every year. But why don't you show them, how you develop a bait? Nobody does that. So it's pretty cool that our pros are, that kind of engaged with what we're doing and developing products with us and sharing ideas with us. And, not just out there, it's not just us saying, hey, go out there and, promote our stuff.
Yeah. Well, we've got someone
That's
on the
cool.
line. Why don't we bring, I think we have a call from East Dublin, Georgia. Is this Jennifer?
No.
No.
This is, you know exactly who this is. I have a question for Daniel.
Okay.
So how do you make your Elaztech plastic? Is it just like traditional plastic where you heat it up and then inject it into your mold, or how do you actually make it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Elaztech it's a completely different kind of material than regular plastic. It's a thermoplastic elastomer, or a TPE, you'll hear some people call it. And what's really cool is that we actually like make and compound our own material here with different ingredients, because it's a proprietary formula. We don't publish what it is. It's not something that you can go out and buy. But yeah, basically, thermo means heat. So you heat it up to a certain temperature. And the way a thermoplastic works is it goes from, it's like a, solid rubbery kind of material. You heat it up and it liquefies. You inject it into the mold when it's heated up and liquefied, and then cool it off to set it in place. Now, the one thing that we can't show, and Alex was saying how it's cool to see the behind the scenes stuff. And I've always it's so cool to see how these baits are made, but that's like our one trade secret right there. We don't have any patents on Elaztech, so we really can't show a whole lot with that, but it's essentially, heating it up to a certain temperature and injecting it into our molds. And it's really, it's pretty cool because, that's technology that we developed right around the same time as we were doing the chatterbait. 2005 is actually when Elaztech went into production the first time. But it's all home brewed. I mean, you go back into our plant and we're using, cement mixers and meat grinders, and it's not like we had a bunch of, chemists and lab coats doing this. It was, people that fish and playing around and a lot of trial and error. And it's pretty cool what we've done with it.
Yoga pants technology.
Exactly.
All right, we've got another call. This one's probably from. Go ahead. Do you have a question?
Hello. This is Alex's family, so now we're calling in just to say hey while y'all are live.
Hi, Jennifer.
So good.
Hello.
I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see this, but Alex's face is really red right now.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah. Who is this? Who is this?
This is Jennifer, his cousin.
His cousin. Oh my God, we got the cousins on. So Jennifer, since we got you,
this is the greatest thing ever.
I'm sure.
Like, this is it. This is the pinnacle right here. Come on, this is amazing.
So since we've got you on here, can you tell us, give us a childhood memory of Alex that he probably wouldn't want you sharing?
Oh, well, we have plenty that we could tell, but I am the oldest cousin, and I was 17 when he was born. And so probably just he was mean. He was always mean.
Like mean to you, or just mean in general, like
across the board?
He wasn't mean. He was just a funny kid.
Funny, mean.
Mean or funny. Gotcha. All right. Well, listen, did you have any other questions? I mean, I'm really grateful that you called in.
Yeah, you got any? I want a complex fishing question from somebody.
We just wanted to know if him and Bethany were going to come over for hamburgers when this was finished.
It is amazing. Oh God.
So, are you coming over for hamburgers?
Yeah, we're gonna have to see. I'll be honest, I'm running on fumes right now. I got a killer sore throat and my sinuses are killing me, so I'm hanging with you guys, but probably as soon as this is over, it's gonna be some NyQuil in bed like an old man.
Oh my goodness, Alex, your family's taking over the show.
I know, man. You can't bring me anywhere. First it's #RudRich, and then they all just come in and call in and take over the show. You can't take me anywhere, dude.
That's amazing. All right, we're gonna go.
Alex, you did look like you got really nervous there when Rick asked him to tell a story about you. I saw you cover up your face, and it's like a look of terror in your eyes.
There's enough that they've got that we could do 2 whole shows about it, I'm sure. I mean, like, I've done enough stupid stuff to take up 2 whole shows. So
to be a kid again. We got a question from Fishing with Gramps, and he'd like to know, Daniel, why a snap instead of an oval split ring?
That's a good question. Really, it's the split ring is a lot harder to put on without messing up the finish on the blade. That's one thing that we've found. The other thing is we've done a lot of testing, and I've been involved in the development of maybe a dozen different chatterbait models. With the snap, it's it's really a fine line that you walk between shape and strength, and having something that's compact and doesn't affect the action. And it's really something that we've played around with a lot. I mean, you'll see, there's probably 4 or 5 different styles of clips on our different chatterbaits. And we came up with one that's on our cross-eyes chatterbait, which is, I actually got one right here. It's this guy with a V-shaped weed guard, but the snap that's on there is it's a unique design, and it actually tests at like 50 pounds, but it's really light wire, and compact, so it doesn't affect the action. You get into a heavier split ring, and it can mess with the action a little bit, but really it's difficulty of putting it on there.
Will we ever see Elaztech panfish or crappie baits?
I think you will. We've got some stuff in the works right now, and actually, I've got a couple of prototype shots sitting on my table over there next to the goat toads and some little heads. But those are in development, and really, honestly, I'd hope to have those out this summer at ICAST. But COVID's kind of messed us up a little bit. We've been playing catch up. Business has been great. It's not a complaint, but we went from running 10 hours a day to running 24 hours a day in our plant and warehouse. So it's just been nuts trying to keep up, and just really kind of slowed down the new stuff a little bit.
That's crazy. Well, let's get to another golden ticket announcement. So again, if you're a MonsterBass subscriber, pull out your cards or write down, grab a pencil. I don't know, what are we giving away? Why don't we give away a bunch of hats? So we'll give away 3 different hats from the collection, and we'll give you a prize pack. I'll put together a bunch of stuff. It'll make my it'll make my my better half happy to clean out my office and not have baits like lying around because. I'm fine with it. Oh, you're my better half now. My work husband? Is that what you would be? It's kind of weird. Anyway.
We're going off the rails. Off the rails.
Well, listen, it's Rafi. It's not me. You met him.
He is your work husband. Who are we kidding?
Oh, God. All right, so the next golden ticket number is X is an X-ray 4780U6043. You won yourself a prize pack. Make sure you take a picture of yourself with a number and send it into marketing at monsterbass.com. Whew. I made through it. Pretty good. All right, guys, the phone lines are still open. So if you have some other questions, we're not going to, it's 7:47 on the East Coast, and we want to be respectful of Daniel's time. We're grateful that he took some time out to educate us on all things chatterbaits, because I definitely learned a lot about the differences between the two. The one thing we didn't talk about, Daniel, was the stealth blade. Can you tell me a little bit about the stealth blade and how that came to be?
Yeah, and so years ago we had an idea, to do a clear blade chatterbait or something like a, circuit board material like you see on a crankbait lip. And it was one of those things where, we always had so much going on. We played with it a little bit, but just really never got it rolling. And it was actually the Bassmaster Classic a few years back talking with Brett Height. And he said, hey, why don't we do one, with a clear blade, better for, clear water applications, pressured fish, that sort of thing. And it's like, well, funny you mentioned that. We've had that kicking around for a few years, and pretty much, told Brett, let's, get with the Evergreen guys and try to get it rolling. And if there's one thing about Brett, he's probably about the most meticulous and picky guy ever when it comes to developing lures, particularly bladed jigs. So we let him kind of run loose with it, and found that there were some, different things that we had to do with the, thickness of the blade. We use a polycarbonate material. It's, just a really, clear plastic. I mean, the blade, doesn't have any color to it, doesn't show up underwater or anything. We had to change the connection to the head a little bit, set a little bit further away from the body to make it vibrate right. So it was a lot of trial and error, but, it's really an incredibly effective bait. A lot of people, when they got it last year, we came out with it at ICAST last year, and a lot of people, when they got it, they, tried to fish it and said, hey, this doesn't, vibrate as hard as a jackhammer, or it doesn't, thump as much or start up as quick. But, the thing is, and I've talked to Brett about this a bunch, is it's not supposed to. I mean, that's what's, different about the bait. You want it to have a different vibration, a more subtle vibration. You don't want it to thump it as hard, because that's when it really shines. Is, the water's clear, the fish don't want something as loud. You're fishing behind somebody that's come through there with a regular chatterbait, and that's where it really works. Pressured fish that just, are looking for something a little different. I mean, we all know that fish kind of get conditioned to stuff, and this is just a little bit different look, but yeah, it's an awesome bait. It's got a really cool hook on it too. It's like this fluorine coated decoy hook. Decoy is a Japanese company. So it's a lighter, thinner wire, but the fluorine coating makes it stronger. Actually, the coating on the hook strengthens it, so it's still like a really light hook, but it's very strong for the wire diameter.
It's cool. It's cool.
Let's go back to the hotline. Let's take another call. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Rick, it's Fishing Bass MC, Sean. I'm one of your pro staff members, man.
Hey.
I wanted to say thanks for everything you do on Monster Bass. And I got two questions. One is for Alex, and either Alex can answer his first or Daniel can answer first, doesn't matter. But the question for Alex would be, what is your favorite Elaztech base? And then the second question for Daniel is on the Elaztech lures, are you ever planning on making a box that will hold those lures? Because we know the Elaztech material tends to not play well with other type of soft plastic. So I was just wondering if you were ever going to make a box that would hold that kind of stuff.
I'll go
Alex,
first,
you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I got a feeling Daniel's response is probably going to be a little more in depth and sciencey, so I'll let him go second. Probably right now is the TRD bugs, man. I really like that thing. That was kind of one of the new Ned shapes that they came out with, and I had a lot of success in the winter with it, throwing that thing around. Specifically in what's the really bright orange color, the bright orange with the dark back.
Probably our green pumpkin orange, I would think.
Probably, and I smashed them this like early season. Had a few tournaments that I did really well in, just dragging that thing around. So that's definitely probably my favorite ZMan plastic right now.
Great,
awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. And on the storage boxes, it's something that we've been looking at and working on. And I think you will see something from us in the future. There's there is a box that's available that works really well with our material. Flambeau makes a box called the K series that you can go on their website and order it. I don't think they sell it mainly as a fishing box, but it's a really clear, hard plastic, and that does great with our material. The one downside to doing a box is, once you get a box, people are going to throw other stuff in there too. And as you know, that's our Elaztech material. It doesn't play well with others. So that's why, so far we've really focused on what's that? So far we've really focused.
Right. They don't play well. So sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We've really focused on, trying to educate folks to keep it in the package and develop storage solutions around that. Like we've got our bait binders, our bait lockers, and we've got another storage bag that's designed for, to fit the packs of baits in, which those are great because we know that people are fishing a lot of different kinds of stuff, not just our stuff. And that way you can kind of store all your different plastics together. And, I find it pretty easy to, locate different stuff, but we are looking at it, working on it. I think you'll see something from us in the next couple of years on that.
That's awesome. Hey, Rick, I do have a quick question for you, buddy.
Yeah.
The question for you is on the bags. I love the bags. I've been with you since last year when COVID kind of first hit. And the one thing I enjoyed about the first couple bags is they're a little thicker material and little I guess better quality, I would use as the word. However, the bags that have been the last couple months, they're a little flimsier. Is there anything that you can do about that, and maybe working with another manufacturer or getting that same one to maybe upgrade those bags a little bit so they're a little stiffer?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for your support and being a customer for a long time. So actually, you're going to be surprised when I tell you this, that the bag that you're referring to as flimsier is actually more expensive. So there's a difference between the two materials. The first one is made from PVC, and so it's a little stiffer. It doesn't stretch, so you're limited in what you can actually put into that bag. And at the same time, depending on like where in the country do you live?
I live in North Carolina.
Okay, so this may not be an issue for you, but if you were to take that bag and put it in the freezer, imagine you're out ice fishing and you were to drop that bag, there's a good chance your bag's going to crack because PVC under cold temperatures doesn't really play nice. So the second bag, and
Yeah.
this was by design because we wanted to try different materials. You know, we didn't go through. You know, when I made the decision to get rid of to think outside the box, so to speak, and get rid of the box and send everything in a reusable bait bag, I didn't go through product research and development. I didn't go through this process. So I wanted to test a couple different materials. So the second batch is made from a product called EVA. It's actually more expensive. It's stretchier. It plays nice in heat. It plays nice in cold. When you pick it up and hold it, you're going to look at it and say, this feels flimsier, but the reality is it's going to allow you to put more into the bag. And so we want...
it does, because as a matter of fact, Rick, it does, because I went fishing this past weekend with a bunch of stuff in the bag, and it really held a lot of stuff. So, I appreciate that you did that with the bag. So, I know it's a little more expensive for you and everything, but we appreciate everything you're doing for the people that love monster bass. So
I appreciate that. And then we're going to send a survey out, and we're going to ask you guys for feedback on the bags, because I don't want this to be like a throwaway. I truly see this as a value add, right? Because the box, I use them to start fires in the backyard. The boxes serve no value. And if I can provide you something that's perfect for the backpack or the kayak or something, so you can throw whatever bait you need into it, I want to continue to provide value. So we're going to ask you some feedback on the bags. We're going to try a third version, and then we're going to settle upon what the finished product will look like that we'll standardize on going forward. So thanks a lot for calling, and I appreciate your support.
yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say one thing, man. Yeah. I used to live in Casanova, and I'm sure you know where that's at.
I do.
I used to fish up in Oneida Lake a lot and stuff. So I'm originally from that area. So I just relocated to North Carolina back in '98. But I'm happy to see you here, buddy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your support. All right. Do we have anyone else that wants to call in? Not yet. All right, great. I don't know, Alex. I'm going to open it up to. Do any of Alex's cousins have questions for Daniel about chatterbaits or soft plastics? If so, or if you want to know what he wants on his burger. You can feel free. The hotline's going to stay open for a couple more minutes, but then we're going to let everyone go because it's getting late on the East Coast. So I don't know, Alex. Do you have any questions for Daniel?
I have to say my last one is one I'm kind of curious about. What about the big bladed chatterbait that Brian Thrift was kind of talking about there for a little while? Where's that thing at, and when can we see that?
Yeah, I had a feeling that might come up, and I actually have one of them right here to show y'all.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, so this is the big blade right here, and then this is the jackhammer. So you can kind of see, there's a pretty huge size difference between those two blades, and so that's coming out at ICAST this summer, and it'll be available shortly after that. We're probably mid to late summer. ICAST is, like around July 20th, and hopefully we'll have them in stock by then. It's pretty cool because I mentioned before how Brian started this whole chatterbait thing, and we kind of got away from working with Brian, which, really sucked actually. Because I like Brian. He's a great guy. When we were at the Classic, we'd always be hanging out, and it's like, man, we got to get rolling with Brian again. And so, we got back on board working with Brian, and I had him down here. I guess it was about a year and a half ago. We had all our pros down here, and we were saltwater fishing, and it was awesome. Those guys, jacking redfish on chatterbaits, and Luke Clausen caught one on one of our hollow body frogs and all kind of stuff like that. But Brian had these, big blade chatterbaits that he had made years ago with some of our old blades. And that's when that idea was born. We've been working on it ever since. And it's, he's been fishing it the last couple of years and making some noise with it. A lot of people saw it earlier this year, but it is, we've got, I think, 9 different colors of it. And it's really cool how we did it with him. Brian ties all of his own skirts. So we said, what colors you want, Brian? And, he kind of rattled a few off, and we were like, okay, why don't you tie them up and send them to me? And he tied up the skirts, and we matched those skirts. And that's what we're going with is Brian Thrift's, favorite colors. Instead of a black and blue, we got the Brian Thrift black and blue candy, and some of his other favorites. So it's really cool. He's excited because he doesn't have to tie skirts anymore on all his lures. He's already got what he needs. But that's going to be a good one. He said all the guys on tour were like stealing them from him and hitting them up for him. So I think that one's going to make a lot of noise. And I mean, you throw the thing out and it's like your whole arm vibrates. I mean, it's so much more vibration than a jackhammer. It's got a big gaff of a 6/0 hook in it that Brian wanted. He's always like those big old hooks. So it's a big fish bait, and it's going to be a really good one. So that's coming out this summer.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have a question from Jeremy Francis in Texas who wants to know, any plans to bring back the sawtail worms?
No, not right now. We do get asked for that one quite a bit, but I think we're going to probably come up with a new worm design that's pretty similar, that same 6-inch size range, just, a little bit updated kind of design. But that's one that, it's weird. You'll have a product that's on the market for like 7 or 8 years, and it's like nobody buys it until you discontinue it, and then everybody wants it. So I guess we should just discontinue everything and people will want it more. I don't know. But that's a good bait. I've caught a bunch of fish on that one myself. And but we will do something pretty similar soon because I know it's kind of a hole in our lineup.
Nice. And then I think the last question for you, Daniel, before we let you go, and thank you so much again for being on the show. What's the background story on Elaztech? How did it come about, and why doesn't it play nicely with other soft plastics?
Yeah. So the way Elaztech came about, I mentioned this guy, Jerry Zucker, the original Z-Man who founded this company. And this guy, like if there was ever a genius, this guy was a genius. I mean, he was like a, really cool guy, completely, self-made, but he had like 190 patents in his name. Like, I don't know exactly what they were. It was mostly stuff I don't understand. I mean, chemical patents and things in the aerospace industry and, everything from, you get a roll of toilet paper and the end of the toilet paper is like glued, back to the piece of toilet paper under it. You never think about this. Well, when you tear off that toilet paper, the glue isn't soaked all the way through the whole roll. Well, he developed that glue. I mean, the guy was like a genius, And so he started reading about these thermoplastic rubbers, thermoplastic elastomers, and was like, I think it was just a light bulb. These would be perfect for fishing lures because, they float, it won't tear up, they'll last longer. And they're 100% non-toxic. So they don't, have any harmful chemicals. I know everybody's probably gotten their bag of Zoom worms or whatever, Strike King and seen, this causes cancer in California or whatever it is. Well, we don't put that on our bag because, you can literally eat our stuff and it wouldn't hurt you. So he saw all those really great attributes and kind of charged a few of the guys that were working with Z-Man at the time to, get in the lab and come up with a formula that worked. And, the first formula was kind of a bust. It was too soft and didn't stay on a hook and it was too sticky. And they finally nailed it. And we've been using the same formula ever since 2005. So that's kind of the backstory to Elaztech. As far as, reacting with other plastics, it's just the nature of it being a different type of material chemically. That class of thermoplastic rubbers that we use for Elaztech, the plasticizers in it, they just don't play well with others. When you get in contact with some dissimilar materials, it just causes, both to melt. And there's really, nothing you could do about it, because if you did something about it, then it would take away the durability and all the great things about Elaztech. So, I always say it's like a mistake you only make once when you mix that stuff together. I just keep all mine in the bags and keep them in one of our bait lockers or bait binders. And, it's not even a big deal for me. But you do have to be a little bit more careful if you're using other different kinds of plastics, because it will, they will eat each other up.
Well, I feel like I just went to school and I feel like I got a really solid education on all things chatterbaits, Elaztech, and now I'm a little more well equipped to have that conversation with other people. So thank you very much. Daniel, I want to say thank you for having you on the show. Taking time out of your day, out of your evening, away from your family to be with us today. It means a lot, and I'm really grateful.
No, I appreciate you having me. I really dig what you're doing, Rick.
Thank you.
And Alex, it's cool to be on here with you. And yeah, I can't thank you guys enough.
All right.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Good to meet you.
Yeah. So Daniel, we're gonna say goodnight to you. Thank you very much. I'm going to answer the question about, we don't need to go through it with Daniel on the phone, about when Z-Man's going to be in the box next. It's an inventory issue. The demand is out the roof. You already said it. It's the number one, it's probably the most popular bait on the planet. So you got to fill the store orders before you can fill the box orders. So Daniel, thanks a lot, and we'll talk with you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Amazing. All right, guys, that was a great show. Amazing. I learned a lot. We're going to do some more golden tickets in just a second. And we're going to keep the hotline open because before we let Alex go, I'm hoping that his cousins will call back because I'm curious to know, like, what else they're serving with those hamburgers today, because that might be one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, probably, if I had to guess, baked beans, pasta salad, potato salad, chips.
Oh,
just knowing them. You know what I mean? Nanny brought her sweet tea, probably.
Nanny. Oh, I still didn't have sweet tea. This nonsense sweet tea that we never get to have. So, all right. Before we, I want to address, before I announce some golden tickets. So, I know there were some comments about Z-Man being in the box, and Z-Man is a great partner to Monster Bass, and we love Daniel. We love the brand, and we want to support them. And I know that they want to support us. We actually had plans to launch the Stealth Blade in our box. And those plans had to be canceled because COVID hit and it threw the entire industry into a tailspin. Like at first, when COVID first hit, brands panicked. And I'm not saying Z-Man, I'm saying brands in general. Brands panicked and were like, oh my God, there's a pandemic. We're going to be stuck with all this inventory. And a lot of brands were like, just sold all the inventory, canceled their orders, and said, we're just going to sit back and wait. And then the opposite happened, right? Everybody started fishing, and people bought everything out. That's why when you guys went to like Bass Pro Shops, everything was sold out, right? And so what happened was everyone had to ramp up orders, and stores started buying everything. And so still to this day, like if I were to call Daniel up right now, and ask him, like you heard him. He said they're running 24 hours a day. That's just to fill store orders.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have time to give us stuff for marketing. They got to fill the store orders first. But I can promise you this, and I'm not going to speak for Daniel. I have no doubt you'll see them in upcoming boxes. We just got to get back to normal, folks. That's all it really is. You ready for the next golden ticket number? Guys, if you got your box, I see the questions. If you're not sure about your golden tickets from last week, go tune in. Go rewatch the video from last week. You'll get your golden ticket numbers. But if you get this week's numbers, you ready? The next one is A as an apple, 464. 4. A as an apple, 8851. Stay tuned. We're going to give away another. Stay tuned. We're going to give away another one in just a little bit. So, what's the prize? Another prize pack. I got a prize pack right here, with baits. If you actually go into in the store, there's a section called Monster Bass Baits, and there is literally there's something called the Patriot 3.0, and there's no pictures. Alex, there's no pictures for the Patriot 3.0. And Katie informed me this morning. She's like, "Do you want these on the store?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "Well, people are buying them.
There's no pictures.
And there's no pictures. There wasn't even a description, and we were selling them out like crazy because they wanted to see what the difference was between the last year's version and this year's version. I mean, it's kind of crazy." I mean,
people, man, when you make something good, people
Yeah.
want it. You
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah.
kind of like the chatterbait. I could say Z-Man probably sell a few chatterbaits and never even post a picture of it.
yeah. Hold that thought for a second. So I'm just curious, caller. Besides burgers, what are we having?
Oh, here we go.
Hello? Hello? Mama, Papa,
Nanny.
Nanny,
Nanny and Papa.
Papa.
Anybody? Well, it can't be
You?
Papa.
All right, we're going to hang up on you now. It sucks. All right, is there somebody else? Let me see. All right, we're going to take this caller. This is Jennifer again. Go ahead, Jennifer. You're on the line. Oh, my God. What is going on here? We lost Jennifer. Oh, are you sure it's working? Yeah. All right. So, hearing Rick say Papa is the greatest thing ever. Well, to be honest with you, I remember I listened to this book on tape called Hillbillyology, and they referred to Mama and Papa, and it might have been one of the best books I've ever listened to. I remember the scene where they were in church in West Virginia, Appalachia, West Virginia. I don't know. They were talking about how they were drunk and they were at church and they pulled out the guns and stuff. And I was like, I need to meet these people. This might be the greatest thing I've ever seen. It turns out that one guy was anyway. Do we have
a good
caller?
book. It's a good book. I've read the book. Good book.
Let's bring them on. Who is it? I hope it's you hung up on them. All right, let's call these people. Sharps Chapel. Go for it. What's going on?
From where now?
Uh-oh. I think that Jared's got a problem. Oh, my God. We still have some of these guys. The Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. I have watched that. Sometimes
Dude,
I wish I
watched that.
Sometimes I know I had seen it before. Sometimes I wish
God.
that scene when she's like in the hospital and she's like, I just need to do a little bit more before we go.
Yeah, just before I have this baby, let me just do this.
Oh my God, that might be one of the biggest train wrecks I've ever seen. All right, we still have another one. Let me show you what's in this bag here.
So do you have a Patriot 3.0 that we can see?
I do, right here.
Well, let's look at it.
Okay, I'm getting ready to pull them out. I'm trying to find one. All right, so let's pull out the bone colored one because everybody loves bone, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me see if I can get this to.
I dig it.
Oh,
Like it a lot. Ooh,
yeah.
And nice clean branding on the back. I like that a lot.
Nice clean branding. I switched from which hooks? I think the other one had BKKs, and I switched these to katanas. I might be a little upset with myself because I love BKK hooks. I love them to death. But everybody seems to love these katanas. I mean, these katanas are super sticky. Let me show you another one that I absolutely love too. I showed this to the guys at Tackle Direct this morning, and they were like losing it. So here's another version.
Oh yeah.
So it's like a midnight. I don't know if I can show you this. It's like midnight blue, and so obviously it's got the pink on the top. And which you can't all over the body. I don't know if it's possible, but all over the body's a whole bunch of sparkle too. But it's just such a deep. Yeah, those are my two favorite ones. I think I named this one after Kobe. I did. This one's the Black Mamba.
Black Mamba. I like it.
Yeah. Wow. All right, let's give it a call from Stooksville or Stooksbury. Oh, Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh God, Jennifer's back.
Yes,
Jennifer's back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
So what are we having for sides tonight?
We had pasta salad, baked beans, sweet tea, chips, and brownies, and pecan pie for dessert.
Wait, what kind? Wait. What kind of pie?
Pecan pie.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, that sounds like quite the little spread. I mean, and that's just for a random Thursday night, right?
Yes, and Rick, listen, when you come back, you call one of us and you come and eat with us. Don't even go through Alex. You just come through us.
Just for the just for the record, Alex took me to a place. Hold on. Alex took me to a place where they served the burning woman roll.
Oh, I don't know where that is.
I can't make that up.
Oh, the Asian cafe. You went to Asian cafe.
Well, yeah. The best part about it was that they're pumping Christian, like uplifting Christian music through the entire place as I'm eating a burning woman roll.
That's called Welcome to Tennessee.
That was amazing.
Yes, and so we have got together and we have thought of a story for Alex when he was little.
I want to say first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for this story, because I know I'm going to really have something fun to think about. So go ahead, tell me.
Yes, from the time he was about 3 until, I don't know, he thought he was a dinosaur. He would be these different dinosaurs. He would be Tyrannosaurus Rex or a Velociraptor. Or what are they called? Velociraptor.
Tell me more.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Alex, can you do an imitation?
I mean, I don't know if I got one in me right now, but I mean, what? Oh God! Do the roller. Do the roar. Do the roar, Daddy. Make it do the roar.
Alex, can you do the roar?
I don't think I can do the roar. I don't think my vocal cords can make those sounds anymore.
Oh, give it a try. Give it a try. I think you can.
What roar do you want me to do?
Look, I'm even doing the subliminal. I'm nodding, and I'm saying I believe in you, Alex. Go for it.
You believe in me?
I do. I'm trying to be positive.
I mean, what sound do you want me to make?
The one that you used to make as a little boy.
I'm not sure which one that is, because there was a lot of them, probably.
Okay, what were your 3 favorite dinosaurs, Alex?
Oh, I mean, I still love dinosaurs. Let's not play around with this fact. I mean, Velociraptor's got to be number 1, all right? And you got to go with a T-Rex because he's just a badass. And then number 3, probably a Spinosaurus. I mean, that's probably my top 3 right there, right? I mean, listen, I'll tell you this much. I had a conversation with my wife yesterday. I said, hey, you want to get on a plane and fly to Chicago with me and go to the Field Museum so we can see the skeleton of Sue? And she goes, what is Sue? I said, it's the most complete Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton that they've ever found. It's in the Chicago Field Museum. And she goes, yeah, sure, we can do that sometime. So, yeah, I still love dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are where it's at.
Hey, Alex, your little black dog just peed behind you. So I just want you to
know that. And I've also got a cat walking around here, too.
Yeah. So,
Rick.
Yes, ma'am.
Rick, thank you for letting us invade your show tonight. This was the first time we've all been together as a family, minus Alex and Bethany and my other cousin Benita, Alex's sister. So we have watched this and have enjoyed our time being together as a family and watching you guys.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm really, I'm sorry that we took Alex away from the family reunion, and I hope you'll have more I hope you'll have more for burgers again sometime.
Oh, we will. And listen, next time you're in town, call one of us and you can come meet all of us.
Oh, clearly I'm going to.
And hey, one more thing.
Yeah.
This waiting music, could we play like the Foo Fighters or something?
What did I say, Rick? I said the same thing last week when I called in. We need the Foo Fighters. The Foo Fighters are great. Yeah, that would be great.
For the record, I see Dave Grohl at this farmer's market every Sunday, and that's
okay.
And I don't know that means anything other than the fact that I see him at the farmer's market every Sunday. Secondly, Jared, we're gonna need new hold music, or Alex's family is gonna go nuts on me.
Yes. Well, listen, you take care, Rick. It was good talking to you, and everybody says,
bye.
Bye.
Wow. That might be amazing. We got another. You got time for another call?
Yeah, dude, I got plenty of time.
All
I'm
right.
good.
Let's do it. All right, caller, go ahead. What is this? Is this Alex's third cousin?
I don't know how I can go on after that. Why would you put me on after that? That was amazing.
Amazing.
Alex's family and everything.
Yeah.
No, I'm not related to Alex. I would like to be because Alex is cool. Maybe
Thank
one of
you.
these days he can adopt me as his brother or something. But anyway, I got two things. Number one for Alex, a little story. Biologist that he has on is probably the coolest man I've ever talked to in my life, and here's why. I live up here in Johnson City area, and we've got Boone Lake up here, and they just fixed the dam, and they're starting to raise it back up. And I've been hearing rumblings about them putting the F1 strain in up here. So I called the local TWRA. They sent a message to this man. He tried to call me the next day. I work at night, so I was asleep. Left me a message. And then he called me back the next day. Right? So it was just awesome that he cared enough to answer my questions because I'm a nobody. And I just thought that was cool and wanted to tell Alex about that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, John's a cool dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I was talking to him, it was like he was talking to me like he'd known me forever. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were talking about stripers. We were talking about all kinds of stuff up here that we've got up here in Boone, which right now it's trashed out, but that's beside the point. And then the other thing for Rick.
Yes, sir.
You guys are still doing before you send the boxes out, showing us what you're putting in them, right? Because I've got so much tackle, dude, that I can't keep getting a box every month because I got a closet that when I open the door, it just falls out on me. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys are still going to do that. So if there's something in there that I really like, I can go ahead and order that one box and not. I mean, I'd like to have the subscription. My wife will also like to put her boot up my ass, but I just was wanting to ask that question.
Yeah, there's a couple different options. So I can't promise you that I'm always going to put out the video of every region before they come out. But you do have the option to switch month or, to skip a month and things like that. We're going to I wonder if I can share this. I've got a plan that I haven't shared with anyone yet whereby I'm going to leverage basically going to leverage crowdsourced data to further make the boxes better so that if I know that you live in Michigan and everybody's catching fish on spinnerbaits, I'm going to try and send you spinnerbaits as opposed to me just deciding. And so, and when I do that, you're going to know up front the shapes. You may not know the brands, but you're going to know up front what's going to come, and then you'll get the ability to switch. But it's going to be a few months from now. It's basically my long-winded answer of not answering your question. I apologize in advance. I don't know. I don't know that I can tell you up front every month what you're going to get. I just don't. Like, I can tell you in June. June's going to be a top water month. I'll let the cat out of the bag. We're going to have this top water month. I'm going to hook you guys up with some sick top water baits. We're going to include the new Monster Bass Patriot 3.0. I'm excited to put those in there. We're gonna have some baits. I don't want to share you, but and then in July, I'm gonna do something totally different, whereby I couldn't tell you what the baits are gonna be up front. I just couldn't because I'm rolling out some technology that's gonna give loyalty points. It's gonna basically reward you with points for every purchase. You sign up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I give you some points, things like that. And I'm going to give you something to do with each bait that comes in the box that month, but I don't want to tell you what it's going to be because, it's going to be a bit of a surprise. So I'll do my best to answer, to tell you up front, but I can't promise you.
All right. Well, you guys are awesome. I love the company. One more thing for Alex. Is there any Rugrats merchandise coming out anytime soon?
Man, that's something that kind of fell by the wayside just with everything going on. But yeah, I need to get with Raffy and design some Rudrat stuff. Everybody, that was kind of like the hashtag before Make Rud Rich was Rudrats. But yeah, we need to bring that back around and make that happen. I think it'd be some cool stuff.
I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm the one that came up with that.
There you go, my man,
So
right here. Here's the dude.
All right.
Just letting you know, it was me. It was me. You're welcome. You can thank me later.
You are the man, dude. You are the man.
Love it. Love it. Well, thanks a lot for calling
You guys
in.
have a great evening.
Yeah, you too, man.
You too, buddy.
Bye.
All right, bye.
So, Alex, we got a question from Brian Tunstall. He wants to know we need Bethany and Bobby stickers.
Yeah, dude, let me tell you something. I think you put this little man's face on a sticker, we can make a lot of money. Especially if it was like a sticker that said, Bobby! Oh, Bobby. That's my dude. He doesn't like me very much, though.
Yeah.
He's a mama's boy.
All right. Well, there you go. I think I might call it we have another call. It's Jennifer. What? Yeah, we have a fourth golden ticket, but we got Jennifer on the line. Let's just talk to Jennifer real quick. Jennifer, how you doing?
Oh, sorry, this is not Jennifer.
Okay. Lord have mercy. What does it say?
So you know how ZMan has jigs, chatterbaits, and soft plastics, right? They don't have hard baits, right?
Well, they have hollow body frogs too.
Oh yeah, I forgot they just came out with those. But
and they have and they have spinner baits.
Oh yeah, I love their
Sling blade.
Finesse double willow. Yeah, that's probably my favorite spinner bait of all time.
Okay.
And then 13 Fishing has hard baits and soft baits. And I was wondering if we could do like some sort of box, like a themed box of like 13 Fishing and Z-Man. Maybe like, you know how you have the winter box where, you know, there's usually some baits that you just want to collect or something like that. I think that might be a really good idea.
Yeah, we had a lot of plans. That's a great question. Thanks for asking. We had plans with Daniel to actually consider things like a takeover box, and my concern always with Z-Man was, again, is there enough in the hard bait category that's going to make people feel like they got a good thing? Because like Daniel said, you're not putting a jackhammer in the box. You're just not. The cost on a jackhammer, the profit margins aren't there, and the cost that it would take for me to put it in the box would mean that you're probably taking up the budget for 3 baits. So I don't know that that's going to happen. But yeah, we had plans to do a takeover box, and then it just kind of fell through because of COVID, and right now they're everybody's focused on inventory. So companies like us are forced to do one of two things, and we can continue to try to put together what we think are the best boxes that we can, or we can go the route of mystery. And I'm not knocking mystery; it's their model, but 80% of the baits in their box are brands that they've made up. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I just think it's better for me to provide you with baits from brands that you know and trust, or that the pros use, than a bunch of brands I made up. So that's just my own opinion. Do we have anyone else on the hotline? Alex, have you eaten dinner yet?
Yeah, I'm solid. Got some dinner. I'm good. It's about bedtime for me now.
All right, can we say hi to your wife or no?
Yeah, right there.
Hi. All right, so for everybody that's Bethany, and if you're if you want to know why we have such amazing customer support, it's because of her and the rest of the team. So when you guys are, when you guys are out there on Facebook, I would love it if you guys would drop a comment and just talk about how great our customer support is, because we take a lot of pride in making sure you guys are happy. We realize we're going to make mistakes and we're going to screw up. We're going to fix it. And so when you see someone out there that's telling us that our customer support sucks, you know what I want to do? I want to reach right through the screen. I want to grab a hold of them and smack them in the face and say, come on. That's not true. We solve all your problems the same way that we want our problem solved. Fair, as quickly as possible. So thanks, Bethany. And let's make Red rich. So
Hashtag make Red rich.
hashtag it. All right, let's say goodbye to Alex. And then we're going to do some golden tickets and we'll say see you later. So, Alex, thank you so much for taking a couple hours out of your day. Really appreciate it. Hope we get to see you in June up in Michigan. I'm going to practice my Alberto knot so that you're not embarrassed and you don't push me to boat number 3 because I want to fish with the big boys. So, hope we get a chance to see you. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Really, I had a great time. I don't know about you, but...
I mean, dude, yeah, I had a fantastic time. This was very, very enlightening. Daniel was a cool dude, and I always enjoy getting on here with you. And June in Michigan. It's usually Michigan in May, but this year we're gonna have to rebrand it to June in Michigan.
I thought it was Memphis in May.
Like
Isn't it Memphis in May?
You can do that. I've done that too. That's just as fun. But it's not just as fun, but it's definitely fun. Yeah. So this year is gonna be a little bit different in Michigan, but dude, we're all going to get up there and go crack some freaking giants. So I'm looking forward to it. Love it. All right, man. Well, thank you to you and your wife for taking time. Really appreciate it. I hope you take some NyQuil, go to bed, and we'll talk with you soon, man. All right, buddy. I'll see you later. All right. Take care, man. Bye. Woo. Oh my God. That was Alex Rudd. In case you didn't know. I mean, the bearded bad man himself. Whew, that was a great show, man. I learned a lot about ZMan and chatterbaits today. I feel like I'm well equipped to know the difference when I see bladed jigs because let's be honest, there's a million of them out there, and the prices on some are starting to get exorbitant. And there's a reason why you pay top dollar for a Jackhammer or a Thunder Cricket, right? The attention to detail, the quality components. Those are the things that separate those two products from a lot of the other imposters that are out there. I'm not saying that the imposters aren't good. I'm just saying they're different. And obviously there's a reason why ZMan has been pumping out quality chatterbaits for as long as they have. So let's get to this golden ticket. We got one more left. So if you have your golden ticket, we're going to give away I'm going to give away a complete set, all 6 of the new Patriot 3.0s. I'm going to hook you guys up with a pack of, I'll tell you what, I'm going to hook you up with a 6-pack of the 2.0s and a 6-pack of the Patriot 3.0s. That's 12 baits, $120 value. All you got to do is be a subscriber. Let's get to the number. The final number. Oh, hold on a second. Perfect timing. Hey, babe, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
Great. I'm live on the air. What's going on?
Awesome. Okay, well, just wanted to say hi, and I love you, and I'm on my way home.
Okay, what's for dinner?
I don't know. What do you feel like?
Wait a minute. You don't make me. You're not making me dinner tonight?
I chuckle.
Okay. Are you gonna at least order something?
Sure, babe. Take your pick. Whatever you want.
Mastro's. That would be a really expensive steakhouse, guys.
No worries.
Really?
Tell your peeps your woman's gonna get you whatever you want.
Oh. She just did. Yeah. All right. Bye, babe. Love you.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Okay. All right. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams. The golden ticket. And then we're going to talk about the Big Bass Championships. All right. The final number. Don't worry, folks. All right. So if you're watching this and you don't have your bag yet, don't freak out. Write down the numbers. Go back to last week's, watch the episode, pull out the numbers. Take a picture if you won. Email it to marketing. at monsterbass.com. We want you to win. We're giving away the stuff, so do it. All right, the final number is F9920D as in dog, 9743. That's the final number. You won yourself a $120 prize pack from Monster Bass. Every week we're going to be here with your golden tickets. We're going to be giving away prizes. Who's my guest next week?
We're open.
Ooh, we're open. We're open. That's a good question. Who should we have on? Last week was Mikey Balls. What happened?
Mikey Balls just hung up.
We've had everybody from KVD to Mikey Balls on, and this week Daniel Nussbaum, President and CEO of ZMan. So thank you to Daniel for taking time out of his day. If you're just tuning in, Big Bass Championships, head over to monsterbass.com/BBC. It's a one fish tournament. That's right. All year for the rest of the season, your next fish could win you up to $10,000 worth of cash and prizes. We break the country into regions to make it fair so that the guys in the north aren't fishing against the guys in the south. All you got to do is follow the directions. Download the Tourney X Pro app. Find the appropriate Monster Bass tournament. Register. If you're part of the general public and you're not a Monster Bass subscriber, it's only $10. $10. And you get to fish all year long, and your best catch is what's going to help you win some cash and prizes. And we're going to be giving away prizes, for everything from the biggest fish to the smallest fish and everything in between. If you're a Monster Bass subscriber, it's absolutely free for you to participate. Just go to the insert, go to the back page. There's a promo code on it, and you can participate for free. It's what we do here at Monster Bass. So, with that, I think Rachel Stone, I think you could wear it better. Then again, I don't know. I haven't seen you. So, what else we got? I think that's all the questions need an identifier for the picks. Fishing with Gramps, when you sign up, you get the identifier. So it comes straight from Tourney X. So if you're telling me that you're not getting it, please reach out and let me know. You should be good to go. Rachel Stone, tell your boyfriend thank you for his service. I think we're good. Rafi, are you good?
Good.
Jared, are you good? All right.
Alex is upset that nobody peed in the shrubs while he was on the air.
We could do that. Who should we have on as a guest next week? Who?
Ravishing Rick Rude.
If you could get isn't Ravishing Rick Rude dead?
They're all dead. I didn't.
So you guys, I have this, I remember as a kid watching the WWF, and so we've been reaching out to all the old wrestlers that, I don't know, maybe they go to swap meets and sign autographs for $5, but we just reached out to Diamond Dallas Page. We've reached out to everyone from Ric Flair to the Junkyard Dog, trying to get them to be on the show, because I think that would be amazing, and fingers crossed. I would love to drop the people's elbow on someone. So, yeah, Ric Flair would be amazing too. So, all right, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I feel like Hacksaw Jim Duggan's probably in some old folks' home, and he's using that 2x4 as a cane, and he's probably the most annoying person at the old folks' home. So, Diamond Dallas Page. That'd be so funny. Oh, the Booker T documentary was good. I'm looking forward to next week to Shawn Michaels. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, on A&E there's an 8-part series. First it was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then it was Rowdy Piper. Last week was Booker T. And Booker T's story was actually really good. I was never a big fan of Booker T, but it was interesting, the story, and he's actually really such a smart guy. And what he did. And then next week, Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kids. I think that's going to be an amazing one. Whew. I don't know why my screen just went blank, but looks like we're not here. And and Kane. Oh, that's right. Alex, we did reach out to Alex. Alex Rudd's mayor is actually Kane.
He said no.
And he said no. He turned us down. Oh, my God. Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
What?
I don't know if you can show that or not.
Oh, yeah, I can show that. So, Alex, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I think that'd make for a really great T-shirt. The Rudd Raptor and, or the Velocirub. I don't know.
That sounds like the best massage parlor ever.
Either way, I can see the name for the next bait. Does it have to be a hard ruler for the BBC? Yes. I better go double check. Yeah, it's got to be one of those board kind of rulers to make it fair, right? Like, I don't want it to be super expensive. Look, as long as the ruler's there and I can see it, I think we'll call it. I think we'll call it fair. So yeah. All right. I think we're good. So, guys, tune in next week. I got more golden tickets. Every week we're going to do this. More golden tickets, more prizes. I'm going to give stuff away. Okay, it's always hard. It's always a hard ruler for the BBC is what Alex Rudd says. So, anyway. Let's, I think you guys should jump over and let's go say hi to our good friend Burley Fishing and check out his live stream. I'm sure he's got a great guest tonight. He's a good friend of the show. Wait, but Tourney X says no fish identified. All right, Fishing with Gramps, I'll look into this and we'll make sure that we're on board with that. So we'll get that taken care of. Head over to check out Burley's show. He's live right now. He's probably got a great guest. I want to say thank you to Daniel and Alex for a great show tonight. We had a really good time. I hope you guys all had a great time too. If you've got any suggestions for guests or for ways to make what we do better, and that's both this show and our box, please feel free to drop us a line at marketing@monsterbass.com. I love you guys, and I'm really grateful for the support that you give to me and to this company. It means a lot. Couldn't do it without you. And I'll see you next week. Thanks.